Welcome to Chat English, where we teach you the real messages you need every day. Today, we're going to build the perfect life update text message so you never freeze again. You are staring at your phone, and a friend just texted, "OMG, hey, it has been a year. How was your year?" And your heart beats fast because you do not know if you should write a massive essay or just say, "Good, you?" which feels completely overwhelming.
Last month, a friend texted me exactly this, and I panicked so much I left her on red for 2 days because I did not know how to summarize my whole life in one tiny chat bubble.
By the end of this episode, you will have the exact copy-paste phrases to share your big events and deep lessons using perfect natural English.
I really wish I had this video a month ago. It is such a terrible feeling when you want to reply to someone, but your brain just stops working. You look at the blinking cursor on your screen, and your mind is completely blank.
Exactly. And the longer you wait to reply, the worse the anxiety gets. You think, "Oh no, it has been 3 hours. Now I have to write an even better message to apologize for taking 3 hours to reply."
Yes, the guilt is real. But the good news is, replying to an old friend does not have to be painful. There's actually a very simple formula you can follow, a structure that makes you sound warm, friendly, and mature without taking 30 minutes to type.
We are going to build this text message together, step by step. And the very first step is the hardest part, the opening line. How do we break the ice after a whole year of silence?
To figure this out, let's do a quick best reply quiz. I'm going to give you 3 options for the very first sentence of your text message. I want you to listen closely and decide which one is the most natural.
Okay, I am ready. Imagine I just texted you, "Hey Dave, how was your year?" What is option A?
Option A is very short. You just type, "I'm good, how are you?"
Oh, I do not like option A at all.
Really, why not? It is polite, it asks a question back.
It is polite, but it's too cold. If a friend says, "OMG, hey, it has been a year," they're showing excitement. They're using an exclamation mark. If you just reply, "I'm good, how are you?" with a period at the end, it kills the energy. It feels like a closed door.
That's a great point. It sounds like you're talking to a cashier at the supermarket, not an old college friend. Okay, what about option B? Option B is the essay. You type, "Hello, my year was very busy. In January, I broke my foot, and then in March, I had to move out of my house, and my cat got sick in July, but then I got a new job in November. How are you?"
Wow, that is a lot of information for the very first text bubble.
It is a huge wall of text. Why is this a bad idea?
Because people read text messages on their phones. They're probably walking to the train or standing in line for coffee. If they open their phone and see a massive paragraph of text, their brain gets tired before they even start reading. It's overwhelming. You're giving them too much too soon.
Exactly. It feels a bit desperate, like you're dumping all your stress onto their phone screen. So option A is too cold and option B is too heavy. That brings us to option C.
Let's hear option C.
Option C is this. You type, "Hey, it has been way too long. I'm doing great. It is so good to hear from you."
Oh, I love option C. That is the perfect reply.
Why does option C work so well?
First of all, it matches the energy of their message. They showed excitement, and you are showing excitement back. But the best part is the phrase, "It has been way too long."
It has been way too long. That is a fantastic, natural phrase. We use it all the time when we reconnect with someone. It means a lot of time has passed and I missed you. It acknowledges the silence without making anyone feel guilty.
Yes, you're not saying, "Sorry, I ignored you for a year." You're just saying, "It has been way too long." It's warm and positive. And then you say, "It is so good to hear from you." This makes the other person feel appreciated.
So we have our opening line. You type, "Hey, it has been way too long. It is so good to hear from you." Now we need to move to the middle of the text message. This is where we actually answer their question. How was your year?
This is where people freeze because a year is a long time. You ate 1,000 meals. You slept 300 times. You probably cried. You probably laughed. How do you choose what to say?
The secret is to share just one or two specific facts, not a list of everything you did, just the headlines of your life. And to do this, we need to talk about our grammar. Let's talk about the past simple tense.
The past simple is perfect for this. We use the past simple to talk about finished actions, things that happened and now they're done. Like, I moved, I started a job, I bought a car.
Exactly. Let's practice this. Jessica, if you were writing this text message right now, what is one big fact from your year using the past simple?
Well, the biggest thing for me is that I changed my living situation. So I would text, I moved to a new apartment in the city.
You moved. No way. I did not know that. How was the moving process?
Ugh, Dave, it was a nightmare. I had 50 heavy boxes. I had to carry them all up 3 flights of stairs because the building does not have an elevator. My arms were sore for a straight week.
Wow, 3 flights of stairs with 50 boxes. That sounds like a heavy workout. But are you happy in the new place?
I am very happy. It gets a lot of sunlight in the morning, which I love. So my text message would say, I moved to a new apartment in the city. It was a lot of work, but I love it here.
That is a brilliant text message. It gives a specific fact, I moved, it adds a tiny bit of color, it was a lot of work, and it ends on a positive note. I love it here. You did not tell them about the 50 boxes or the sore arms because that is too much detail for a text. You just gave the headline.
Exactly. You want to leave some details hidden so they have something to ask you about later. Now it is your turn, Dave. What is a specific fact from your year using the past simple?
For me, it is about my career. So I would type, I started a new job in marketing back in August.
A new job? Really? That is fantastic news. Were you nervous about changing careers?
I was terrified. I was at my old company for 5 years. I knew everyone, I knew the routine. Walking into a new building on the first day, my hands were literally shaking. I actually spilled coffee on my shirt right before I met the director.
Oh no, spilled coffee on the first day? That is my absolute worst nightmare. How did you hide it?
I had to hold my notebook over my chest for the first 2 hours. It was so embarrassing, but I survived. And looking back, getting this job was a huge milestone for me.
A milestone? That is a great word. But what does milestone mean?
A milestone is a very important event in your life or your development. Imagine you're walking down a long road and there are stones that mark how many miles you have walked. Those are milestones. In life, a milestone is a big step forward. Getting married is a milestone. Graduating university is a milestone. And for me, changing careers was a big milestone.
I love that word. It sounds very mature and reflective. So you could text your friend, I reached a big milestone this year. I started a new job in marketing.
Yes, that sounds incredibly natural. Notice how Jessica and I both used the past simple tense for our facts. She said, I moved. I said, I started. These are finished events. They live in the past.
But a good life update text message is not just a list of facts. If you only give facts, you sound like a newspaper. I moved, I started a job, I bought a dog. It's a bit boring.
You are completely right. A real friendship is about feelings, growth, and how you have changed as a person. So after you give your past simple fact, you need to do something we call the deep pivot.
The deep pivot. I like the sound of that. What is a pivot?
A pivot is when you turn and change direction. In our text message, we are pivoting away from the past events and turning toward our current feelings and life lessons. And to do this naturally, we use a different grammar tense. We use the present perfect.
Ah, the present perfect tense. This is the tense that connects the past to right now. It's how we talk about life experience and personal growth. We use phrases like, I have learned, I have realized, I have become.
Exactly. The event happened in the past, but the lesson is inside your heart right now. Let me give you an example from my own year. Last year, I worked way too much. I checked my emails at midnight, I said yes to every project, and eventually I became totally overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. That's a big feeling. What does it feel like to be overwhelmed?
It feels like you're swimming in an ocean and the waves are just too high. It means there's too much happening, too much stress, and your brain simply cannot handle it anymore. You feel crushed by pressure.
I know that feeling very well. When you're overwhelmed, you just want to turn off your phone and sleep for a week.
Exactly. So I was very overwhelmed. I had to learn to stop working so hard. So for my deep pivot in my text message, I would use the present perfect. I would type, I have realized that rest is highly productive. I have started taking my weekends completely off.
Wow. I have realized that rest is highly productive. That is a beautiful sentence, Dave. It shows so much maturity.
Thank you. And notice the grammar. I have realized. The realization started in the past, maybe on a tired Tuesday in October, but it is still true today. It changed who I am.
It is so much more meaningful than just saying, I was tired. It shows your friend that you're growing. Let me try one. My deep pivot is about relationships. Last year, I always said yes when people invited me to parties, even when I was exhausted. I was afraid they would be angry if I stayed home.
Oh, the fear of missing out, the fear of disappointing people, that is very common. How did you change that?
I practiced saying no. I started telling people, I love you, but I need to stay home and rest tonight. And my real friends were completely fine with it. They supported me. So in my text message, I would use the present perfect. I would type, I have learned how to set better boundaries this year, and I have become much happier just staying home with a good book.
That is a wonderful life lesson, Jessica. Setting boundaries is so difficult, but so important.
It really is. And looking at the text message, the flow is perfect. Let's put my whole message together. First, the greeting. Hey, it has been way too long. Next, the past simple fact. I moved to a new apartment in the city. It was a lot of work, but I love it here. Finally, the present perfect deep pivot. Overall, I have learned how to set better boundaries this year, and I have become much happier.
That is a 10 out of 10 text message. If I received that from an old friend, I would smile at my phone. It is warm, it gives me a fun fact about the apartment, and it shares a deep emotional lesson about boundaries. It invites me to have a real conversation with you.
Now, before we move on to the final piece of the text message, we want to take a quick second to ask you a favor. If you are enjoying building these natural text messages with us and you want to learn more chat English, please click the subscribe button right now.
Yes, subscribing is the best way to make sure you never miss a lesson. We create these videos to help you feel confident in real, everyday communication, and having you in our community means the world to us.
So, hit subscribe and let's get back to the lesson. We have our greeting, our fact, and our deep lesson. But wait, Dave, what if the person texting you is not your best friend from college? What if it is your old manager or a former boss messaging you on LinkedIn?
Oh, that changes everything. The LinkedIn message. Your heart beats even faster for that one. You definitely cannot be as casual with a former boss as you are with a college friend. We need to talk about casual versus polite English.
Let's look at our opening line again. For our friend, we typed, Hey, it has been way too long. Can I say that to my old boss?
You probably should not say hey to a boss unless you are very close. And the phrase, it has been way too long, is a bit too emotional for a professional setting. It implies a deep personal longing. For a boss, you want to be warm but respectful.
So how do we make it polite?
Instead of hey, use their name, hello, Mr. Smith, or hi, Sarah. And instead of it has been way too long, use the polite alternative. Type, it has been a while. I hope you have been well.
It has been a while. I hope you have been well. That sounds very professional. It is friendly, but it keeps a respectful distance. Okay, what about the past simple fact? My fact was I moved to a new apartment. Can I share that on LinkedIn?
Moving to an apartment is a bit too personal for a professional networking message. Your old boss does not need to know about your 50 boxes and your sore arms. For a professional contact, you should share a career fact or a skill you learned.
That makes sense. So instead of the apartment, I could use the past simple to say, I recently completed a certificate in project management, or I attended a great leadership conference in May.
Perfect. Those are excellent past simple professional facts. Now, what about the deep pivot, the present perfect? With my friend, I said I have realized that rest is productive. Should I tell my old boss about my burnout and my rest?
Definitely not. You do not want to talk about being overwhelmed and exhausted with someone who might hire you in the future or give you a reference. You want to sound capable and focused.
So, how do we pivot professionally?
You still use the present perfect, but you focus on professional growth. You could type, I have really focused on improving my team leadership skills this year, or I have taken on more responsibilities in my current role.
Those are fantastic. Let's look at the yellow text bubble on your screen right now. We are going to do a quick speaking practice. I want you to read this polite, professional sentence out loud with me wherever you are. Ready? I have taken on more responsibilities in my current role.
Great job. Just saying the words out loud trains your brain and your mouth to feel the rhythm of the present perfect tense. I have taken. I have focused. It flows very beautifully.
So let's look at the complete professional message. Hi, Sarah. It has been a while. I hope you have been well. I recently completed a certificate in project management. Overall, I have focused heavily on improving my leadership skills this year. How are things at the company?
It is flawless. It uses the exact same structure as the friendly text: greeting, past simple fact, present perfect growth. But the vocabulary is shifted to be polite and professional. You are completely protected. You will never stare at a LinkedIn message and panic again.
This structure is your safety net. You can use it today, you can use it next year. It works every single time someone asks you to catch up. Speaking of catching up, Jessica, we used that phrase earlier. What does it actually mean to catch up with someone?
To catch up is a phrasal verb we use constantly in texting. Imagine you're running on a track and your friend is running far ahead of you. You have to run faster to catch up to where they are. In conversation, catching up means sharing the news you missed while you were apart so that your knowledge of each other's lives is in the same place again.
Yes, we always text, let's grab coffee and catch up. Or, I would love to do a phone call to catch up soon. It is the perfect way to end your text message. After you share your update, you type, I would love to catch up properly soon. Let me know when you are free.
That puts the ball in their court. It invites them to make a plan without forcing them to do it immediately. It's polite, low pressure, and very natural.
We have covered so much today. We started with the panic of the blank screen. We busted the myth that you have to write a huge essay. We learned how to give a fun fact using the past simple. We learned how to share deep wisdom using the present perfect. And we even translated the whole thing into polite business English.
If you followed along with us today, you have done something amazing. You've learned how to manage complex grammar, the past simple and the present perfect, not by memorizing a textbook, but by building a real human connection. You learned how to tell the story of your life.
That is a massive achievement. You're not just learning vocabulary words, you're learning how to be yourself in a new language. You should feel incredibly proud of the work you put in today. Please take a second and just give yourself a round of applause. You earned it.
I am definitely clapping for you. And because we want you to keep practicing, it's time for our final challenge. We have a question for you, and we want to read your answers.
Yes, we love the comment section. It is our favorite part of the week. So here's your prompt. Imagine Jessica or I just texted you and asked, how was your year? We want you to write your reply in the comments below.
Tell us one specific fact using the past simple. Type I started, or I moved, or I visited. Then give us your deep pivot using the present perfect. Type I have realized, or I have learned, or I have decided. We cannot wait to read about your milestones and your lessons.
It is time for us to sign off for today. Please remember to share this episode with a friend who might need some help answering their own text messages. We appreciate you spending your time with us today. We really do.
Save these phrases in your notes app right now so they're ready when you need them. And if you want to master more workplace conversations, go watch our video on casual versus polite office chats right after this. Have a beautiful week, keep practicing, and we'll see you next time.